Miraculous love, revealed why only the three chosen ones can endure your divine light. In the quiet village of Hopewell, St. Augustine's church towered like a beacon of divine power. Its bells rang out with an ethereal sound, whispering secrets of faith into the hearts of its faithful every Sunday. Among them was Sarah, a devoted mother, whose mornings were graced by the soft glow of dawn as she knelt in prayer, calling upon her beloved patron saint for guidance. But everything changed when a shadow loomed over her. Her 10-year-old son, Luke, was diagnosed with a terminal illness. It felt like a brick had been lodged in her chest, a weight that suffocated even her most fervent prayers. As whispers of concern spread through the village, candles flickered in windows, and the air buzzed with an urgent call for divine intervention. Yet, even as the community rallied around her, Sarah felt an unsettling loneliness deepen. Had God abandoned her? Was her steadfast faith no longer enough to pierce the heavens? The church that once felt like home now echoed with her doubt. One evening, as shadows danced along the cobblestone streets, Sarah embarked on a walk, seeking solace in the twilight. The soft whisper of the breeze carried her thoughts. But suddenly, she stumbled upon three unlikely figures, their energies intertwined like threads of a tapestry woven by Goddess' hand. The first was Father Michael, clad in a weathered cassock, his eyes filled with a sorrowful search for belief. Jack, a rough-edged soul, bore the scars of addiction, yet his gaze sparkled with the flicker of newfound hope. And Grace, a blind woman, radiated an extraordinary light that transcended her earthly limitations. As they gathered together, an unexpected warmth enveloped them. They became a sanctuary for one another, unraveling their fears and sharing moments of grace. An undeniable spiritual chemistry ignited in the air. They began to meet in the church, their voices merging into a sweet harmony of prayer, each plea a plea for healing, for hope. With every gathering, Sarah could feel the atmosphere thicken with an otherworldly presence. Shadows became less daunting under the weight of collective faith. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Their prayers became fervent, igniting the old stones of St. Augustine's, as if each prayer sent up sparks that touched the heavens. Sarah felt a stirring within her, an echoing voice urging her to believe again. What did it mean to be chosen by God? Could faith indeed conquer the immense darkness encroaching on her life? The sanctity of their bond grew stronger, a tapestry being woven through shared suffering and a poignant moment illuminated by the flickering candlelight. Sarah stood before the altar. Incense hung thick in the air, mingling with whispered supplications, igniting a revelation deep within her spirit. Would this epiphany guide her as she faced the crushing weight of despair? Just as she began to comprehend the intricate dance of divine love amid sorrow, Sarah's heart raced as a startling event unfolded in the church. The air shifted, people gasped. Would a miraculous transformation reveal itself? As the air in St. Augustine's thickened, a low hum filled the church, resonating deep within the hearts of those gathered. It was a sound both ancient and new, a melody of hope interlaced with the weight of despair. Sarah's eyes widened as she felt a sudden rush of warmth envelop her, as if a blanket of divine presence had settled upon her shoulders. The flickering candles seemed to dance with fervor, casting light upon the weary faces that turned toward the altar in unison. Father Michael took a step forward, his voice filled with conviction. Let us open our hearts completely. We have come together for more than just prayer. We've come to witness a divine awakening. The tension in the room seemed to shift, unfolding like petals of a flower yearning for the sun. Each member of that sacred gathering felt the brush of an unseen hand, stirring their spirits to rise alongside their pleased Grace, her blindness seemingly irrelevant in the moment, raised her hands. I may not see, but I can feel his light. Her voice resonated through the dimmed air, igniting a shared understanding among the group. We are chosen in our imperfections, look beyond the surface to see our worth. As the others joined in prayer, their voices blended, growing louder, lifting the heaviness clouding Sarah's heart. Tears brimmed in her eyes. She sensed the collective strength of their faith, surging like a tidal wave, threatening to drown out her doubts. Each word of praise sent ripples across her soul. Perhaps this was the transformation the village needed as much as she did. Sarah, a gentle whisper drew her back. It was Jack, his rugged face softened by the light. You're not alone. Goddess love is at work, and you are part of it. Your pain, your doubts, they are not without purpose. With conviction, Sarah nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope igniting in her chest. Then let this pain be a bridge to faith. Let it guide us, she urged, her voice gaining strength as the words flowed freely, each syllable emboldened by the love around her. Suddenly, the candles flickered violently, and the hushed crowd collectively gasped. A radiant light burst forth from the altar, illuminating every corner of the church. An unearthly glow danced across the stone walls, casting halos above their heads. The warmth embraced Sarah entirely, and she felt herself sinking into a profound peace. What is happening? A voice quivered from the back. Murmurs echoed through the congregation, uncertainty mingling with excitement. But just as quickly as the light had ignited, it began to dim, and Sarah felt urgency prick at her heart. We must hold on to this moment, she exclaimed, reaching for Grace and Jack, pulling them closer. We cannot let fear diminish our strength. They gathered tighter, forming a circle, hands clasped. Each heart resonated with the rhythm of unity and determination. We are chosen. We are not just survivors of our trials. We are warriors of faith. Sarah's spirit soared, her voice a rallying cry in the dark. The energy in the church spiraled higher, Sam's heart pulsing with a beacon of belief. But just as they thought they had grasped the divine purpose, a quiet voice broke through the chaos. It came from the shadows cast by the altar, where a figure appeared, softly illuminated yet distinctly other. You seek miracles, the figure murmured, but the greatest miracle is to trust even when you cannot see. Sarah turned her gaze toward the figure, bewilderment surging inside her. Was this the moment they'd been waiting for? Would this be the revelation that changed everything? As gasps of awe filled the air and hushed whispers rippled through the church, Sarah's heart raced. What truth lay behind this heavenly visitor? Would they finally understand the profound depths of God's miraculous love? And so, the night deepened, thick with anticipation. A question loomed large. Could they embrace the faith that called them into the unknown? The answer awaited just beyond the horizon of their understanding. The air hung like a heavy mist, thick with the shine of anticipation. Each breath Sarah took was laced with tension and hope as she gazed at the figure that stood before them, the divine presence that seemed to be both a part of them and entirely apart. The whispers of the congregation softening to an almost reverent hush. Their collective heartbeat echoed a simple prayer. Guide us. The figure, wrapped in luminescence, stepped closer, eyes sparkling with wisdom that transcended time. To trust, it repeated, the voice soft yet commanding, is to embark on the journey without knowing where the path may lead. Sarah felt a deep stirring in her heart, a yearning, a call to follow. What do you mean? She breathed, captivated by the gravity of the moment. Do we not deserve to know what lies ahead? Ah, the figure replied, taking a gentle step forward, light cascading like a waterfall around them. In wanting to see, you miss the beauty of faith itself. Embrace the unknown, for it is there that true miracles dwell. Jack squeezed Sarah's hand, his eyes wide with wonder. Can you feel it? The call to step beyond our comfort. Grace, ever present with her insightful spirit, nodded. Sometimes the unseen carries the strongest weight. As the figure smiled softly, a wave of warmth surged through the congregation. Sarah could feel it wrapping around her, drawing from deep within the well of their collective faith. She closed her eyes, letting the moment wash over her. I want to trust, she whispered, barely audible, as if saying it aloud solidified her resolve. You cannot walk alone, dear ones, the figure said, looking over the circle with deep compassion. The journey of faith is best traveled together, each uplifted by the other's light. It was as if each heartbeat pulsed with a greater truth. Sarah opened her eyes, and she saw the clear reflections of hope, fear, love, and uncertainty in the faces surrounding her. They were warriors not merely facing trials, but makers of their own destiny, bound by an unbreakable thread of love. Tonight you must choose, the figure continued. Will you be the vessels through which my light can shine? Will you allow your wins and losses to merge into a tapestry of hope for others to see? Sarah felt the weight of that question. The rest of her companions looked around, an unspoken agreement binding them. Yes, they murmured softly, hope and determination intertwining. We will be those vessels. A ripple of energy radiated from the center of the circle, their hearts synchronized in faith. Go forth, my chosen ones, the figure encouraged, and fear not the shadows. Light will always find you. As those words rang in their ears, the figure began to dissipate, fading yet leaving behind an echo of brilliance. Within that glow, Sarah felt a transformative power igniting a fire within her soul. It was a challenge, a calling, and a promise all at once. Together we will go beyond our fears, she declared, her voice brimming with the newfound fire. The others echoed her sentiment, bonding stronger through shared purpose. Yet the brilliance of the moment dimmed ever so slightly, reminding her of the shadows that lurked beyond the pews. What if we fail? A voice trembled skeptically from near the back. What if we're not strong enough? Then let our weaknesses be turned into strengths. Jack responded, bold and unwavering. In our vulnerability, God's strength is revealed. Could they chart their course into the unknown without the assurance of success? Sarah's heart raced with anticipation as they collectively committed to the journey ahead. Was this the true essence of faith, to step forward together, even amidst uncertainty? Each deep breath filled with courage. They knew a promise lingered in that sacred space, an uncharted realm ripe for exploration. He is with us, Sarah whispered softly, knowing that neither she nor her companions would ever traverse this path alone. With the figure's words echoing, a new question stirred restlessly within them. What awaited them beyond the familiar shadows of doubt? And so, the adventure into the unknown began. As the congregation stood in the depth of their silence, Sarah felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The air around them shimmered, as if urging them to embrace the depths of their souls. She glanced at Grace and Jack, their faces alight with the mirrored resolve. They shared a moment of understanding, a quiet strength forged in faith. Let us step forward, Grace said, her voice steady, breaking the silence. There is so much more waiting for us beyond this moment. Sarah nodded, heart pounding. Each step away from the familiar pews felt like a leap into the unknown. The world outside felt different now, imbued with a sense of possibility. The gentle glow of the street lights illuminated their path, but it was the light within them that blazed the trail ahead as they walked. Sarah began to feel the weight of their mission. But what if we lose our way? She asked, vulnerability creeping into her voice. What if we are not the vessels he chose us to be? No one walks a perfect path, Jack replied, glancing back with an encouraging smile. Every stumble is part of our growth. Besides, isn't it in seeking that we truly find? With his words igniting a spark in her heart, Sarah felt emboldened. The moon hung brightly overhead, a divine reminder of light in darkness. They approached a small park, its tranquility inviting them to pause. Here, Grace suggested, settling onto a bench. Let us take a moment to breathe and share our hopes. What does trusting in the unknown mean to each of us? I trust in the idea that we're not alone, Sarah began, feeling a wave of warmth wash over her. It means knowing we're connected, that our faith emboldens not just us, but everyone around us. And trusting in one another, Jack added, his gaze shifting to the reflection of the moon on the pond's surface. It's a reminder that together, we can weather anything. Grace took a deep breath, her expressive eyes shimmering. And embracing the idea that we're all imperfect vessels of his light is crucial. We shine brightest when we accept our flaws. Suddenly, the night air was pierced by the sound of laughter from a group nearby. Their joy was contagious, echoing the gathering spirit of hope. Sarah felt a stirring of connection not just to her friends, but to everyone who dared to express their true selves, unguarded and genuine. "It is beautiful," she said, gesturing to the strangers. "Look at them. Their laughter carries love into the world. We should join them." Grace and Jack exchanged glances, the gleam of shared adventure shining in their eyes. They stood, a collective determination drawing them toward the laughter. As they approached the group, Sarah felt a lightness lift her spirit. Every fragment of fear melted away, each step forward stronger than the last. "Excuse us," Sarah called out, as the strangers paused, intrigued by their approach. "We're on a journey of faith and hope. Could we share this moment with you?" A young woman with vibrant energy smiled back, gesturing for them to join. "Of course. Your presence is already a part of our joy." As the circle widened, laughter and stories flowed freely, each moment weaving a tapestry of shared experiences. Sarah absorbed it all, each fragment contributing to their collective mission. And amid the lightheartedness, she sensed an intriguing undercurrent, a yearning for something deeper. An introspective thought flickered in her mind. What if we seek not just to find joy, but to share the love that flows from within? The woman beside her leaned closer, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Sarah paused for a moment, contemplating. "We are all vessels, each carrying a fragment of his light. If we align our purposes and share that light, could we not create a brighter world?" A hush fell around them, punctuated only by the gentle rustling of leaves. In that sacred space, Sarah felt the truth of her words resonate. As joy blossomed in the gathering, Sarah pondered, were they truly ready to be the vessels of divine significance? What awaited them on this path where faith met action? The echoes of laughter and the rising hum of connection surrounded them, but an unspoken question lingered in the stillness. Would they have the courage to follow where this sacred light might lead them next? The warmth of laughter lingered in the air, wrapping around Sarah like a comforting blanket. The gathering felt alive, each person a unique thread in a vibrant tapestry that resonated with the pulse of shared faith. As she sat among them, she felt a deep yearning for understanding, a desire to uncover the depths of their laughter and light. Grace leaned in, her curiosity palpable. "Do you all feel it?" she asked, looking around the circle, her expression earnest. "This connection, there's something special happening here. Something divine." Jack nodded, his gaze drifting toward the stars twinkling above. "We're a part of something much bigger than ourselves. What if this moment is meant to guide us in ways we can't yet see?" The young woman who welcomed them chimed in, her voice echoing a desire that had resonated within them all. "I believe every encounter has purpose. Each laugh shared and each story exchanged brings us closer to understanding why we are here. What if we are called to be messengers of hope?" Sarah suggested, gazing at her friends. "What if we are meant to carry this light beyond this moment?" A murmur of agreement rippled through the group, sparking animated conversations about their experiences, the challenges that forged resilience in their lives. Stories of loss, love, and revelation intertwined, creating an enduring bond that transcended mere chance. In the midst of this flow, Sarah's heart surged with the realization that everyone, even those she hadn't yet met, sought the same light. Their laughter wasn't just an escape. It was a reflection of a love that longed to be shared. "Do you ever feel like you're on the cusp of something grand?" Sarah asked, her words steady but charged with emotion. "Like the universe is poised, waiting to reveal what we need most?" Grace's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Absolutely. Sometimes it feels like we're standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into the unknown. It's terrifying and exciting at the same time." Jack smiled. "But isn't that what faith is? Leaping without knowing where we will land, trusting in his embrace?" The group fell silent, absorbing the gravity of his words. The space between them felt sacred, as if they were cradling an unspoken promise that rippled with potential. Suddenly, the laughter of the nearby gathering faded, replaced by a silence that hung thick with expectancy, like the pause before a storm. Then, out of nowhere, a brilliant flash illuminated the park. The moonlight intensified, casting divine shadows and bathing them all in silvery light. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. It was awash with reverence, the moment now charged with an unmistakable energy. "What is this?" murmured the vibrant young woman, her voice barely a whisper. "This is what we seek," Sarah replied, her heart racing. "A revelation of love that surpasses our understanding. Let us open ourselves to whatever he wants to show us." As they stood together, welcoming the radiance that filled the air, a shiver of excitement rippled through the congregation. The atmosphere pulsed with new life, each heartbeat synchronizing with a deeper understanding of their shared purpose. In that moment, they collectively knew they were chosen to spread this light far beyond their immediate surroundings. But as the glow began to wane, questions loomed. Would their journey take them down paths they'd never imagined? Would they truly have the strength to fulfill the call placed upon their hearts? With faith ignited, they held hands, a circle of hope gazing toward the horizon, ready for whatever awaited. The moment felt sacred, yet unfinished. What awaited them beyond this revelation? How would they turn this moment into a movement of divine love? Only time would unfold the answers hidden in the depths of their intertwined fates. As the last shimmering notes of the light faded into the stillness, a profound peace settled over them. Sarah felt a warmth radiate from her heart, as if the presence they had so deeply craved was now nestled within them. It was a sweet whisper of reassurance, like the gentle breeze that follows a storm. "What's next?" Jack murmured, his voice steady but laced with wonder. The question hung in the air, heavy with expectation, as they all looked at one another with a mix of anticipation and trepidation, each person seeking answers for what had just occurred, as if waiting for their hearts to guide them to a new path. "I think it starts with us," Grace said softly, glancing at each face in the circle. "If we truly carry this light, it's our responsibility to share it. But how do we begin?" Her question echoed softly, cradled amongst the branches swaying gently overhead at that moment. Their eyes turned toward a nearby oak tree bathed in ethereal light. It stood like a guardian, its roots deep and unwavering. Sarah felt a surge of clarity wash over her. "What if we begin with our stories? There is power in our narratives. They can inspire hope and ignite change in others," she urged, each word bubbling with conviction. The vibrant young woman nodded eagerly, her hands now trembling with enthusiasm. "And each story connects us even further. We must be brave enough to reveal our hearts and allow others to see how we've been transformed." Excitement buzzed through them as they started to share their individual journeys. Grace spoke of her battle with doubt and how faith had sown seeds of courage deep within her soul. As the stories unfolded, Sarah felt the weight of their shared struggle and triumph enveloping them in a cocoon of love. But amidst the laughter and tears, a flicker of uncertainty persisted. What if their stories were not enough? What if the light within wouldn't be strong enough to shine through the darkness others faced? Jack's brow furrowed as he grappled with his own insecurities. What if we fail? What if we're too small to make a difference? In that moment of vulnerability, Sarah reached out, her fingers clasping Jack's. "It's not about the size of our light, but how brightly we let it shine," she said. "If we allow the love we've felt to guide our steps, we will illuminate the dark paths for others. We are not alone in this." A gentle murmur of agreement looped around the circle, a soft reaffirmation entwining their spirits. The voices of faith, courage, and hope danced warmly through the air, and Sarah sensed that the divine presence had not left them. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat reverberating through the universe, connecting them to a greater purpose. "Let us promise to support one another as we step into the unknown," Grace encouraged. "Together, we'll embark on this journey of sharing love and light." They sealed their promise with a chorus of amen, creating a collective echo that reached for the heavens. The atmosphere vibrated with sacred energy, whispering of fresh beginnings. Just then, a rustle among the leaves caught their attention. A butterfly, luminous and radiant, fluttered past them, as though sent by the divine to herald their calling. It seemed a sign, a tangible reminder that wings of change were indeed taking flight. As they watched the butterfly dance in the night, the question loomed large in their hearts. How far would their love reach? Would they have the courage to follow wherever they were led? With hearts alive and a mission ignited, they shared smiles laced with hope, yet aware that the path before them remained cloaked in mystery. Their journey had just begun, but they were ready to embrace whatever unfolded. What challenges and transformations awaited them in the light of this newfound purpose? Would their faith be tested as they walked on? Only the unfurling of time would reveal the next step in their miraculous journey. As dawn approached, a soft glow painted the horizon in hues of pink and gold. The world around them stirred to life, awakening in harmony with their newfound resolve. In this sacred moment, Sarah, Jack, and Grace felt the thrill of hope mingling with the breeze, whispering secrets of what was yet to come. With a renewed sense of purpose, they ventured deeper into the woods, drawn by an unseen force. Each step seemed to resonate with the rhythm of their hearts, echoing the sacred promise they had made the night before. The air was thick with anticipation, and they could feel the invisible thread of connection binding them. "Do you think the light will guide us to others?" Jack asked, his voice a tender blend of excitement and doubt. He turned to Grace, who nodded with conviction. "I believe it will," she replied. "But we must be ready. We may encounter those who are lost or weary. We might need to stand firm in our faith and remind them of their own light." The path unfurled before them like a tapestry woven with purpose. They began to share their stories aloud, each word an invitation to those who might be listening. Sarah recounted her moments of despair turned into joy, how even the darkest nights were illuminated by flickers of divine love. Grace shared the light she found in the shadows of her doubt, her voice steady and resolute. Jack, encouraged by their words, followed suit. "I never realized how much impact a simple act of kindness could have," he reflected. "Sometimes it just takes a spark to ignite a flame in someone else's heart." Suddenly, from the thicket, a faint voice emerged, a struggling whisper as fragile as the dawn's first light. "Is anyone there?" The trio halted, their hearts amplifying the urgency in the air. They quickly exchanged determined glances before stepping toward the source, where they discovered a young man sitting against a tree, his expression lost and weary. Tears glistened in his eyes, reflecting a deep sorrow that seemed to eclipse the dawn around him. "I am broken," he confessed, his voice trembling. "I don't know if I can ever find my way back." Gently, Sarah knelt beside him, her heart breaking for his pain. "You're not alone," she assured him, warmth radiating from her fingertips as she placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "We've all faced darkness, but there is always a path back to the light. You just need to trust." As the words enfolded him, Grace stepped forward, her heart swelling with compassion. "Let us share our stories with you," she said softly. "In our journeys, we have discovered that even the most fleeting moments of light can restore hope." The young man's gaze lifted, curiosity flickering like a candle-esque flame. He listened intently, and as they opened their hearts, a shift began to ripple through the leaves, stirring the warm air around them. "Will my light ever shine again?" he whispered, uncertainty etched on his brow. "Absolutely," Jack replied, his voice firm yet gentle. "Every struggle, every tear has purpose. In your vulnerability you will find strength. You just have to allow yourself to heal." Together, they cocooned the young man in their love, their voices lifting in expectancy to the heavens. It was as if a bridge was being built, connecting their hearts to his in that sacred space. Sarah felt an electric surge flow among them, the kind that reminded her they were but vessels for the divine to work through as they prayed together. The sun broke through the treetops, spilling radiant light over their shoulders. They marveled at the warmth and brilliance that now enveloped them, breathing in the promise of new beginnings. But deep inside her, Sarah sensed a stirring, a flicker of something yet to be revealed. What awaited them as they continued to embrace this calling? Would they encounter more souls yearning for hope? Or would they face trials that would challenge their faith? Hesitation loomed, but so did excitement. The journey was far from over, and with the light now guiding their path, They were ready to discover the mysteries that lay ahead. What divine encounters awaited them? In the depths of their shared mission, would they dare to embrace the unknown? As the warm light cascaded around them, illuminating the forest in a golden hue, the young man blinked in awe. Each word shared by Sarah, Grace, and Jack wrapped around him like a soft, reassuring blanket. He seemed lighter, somehow, as if the burden he carried was beginning to ease. The sun climbed higher, and with it came an unmistakable clarity. Jack gazed at the young man, who now had a flicker of hope in his eyes. "What's your name?" Jack asked gently. "Eli," the young man replied, his voice steadier now. "I thought I would be lost forever, living in shadows." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with understanding. "Eli, remember, shadows only exist where light has not yet reached. You have a light inside you. We all do. Let us help you see it." With renewed conviction, Grace offered her hand, helping Eli to his feet. "Our journey isn't finished. We share our light, not just for ourselves, but for all who seek the warmth of hope." Eli looked deep into Grace's eyes, gratitude flickering like a candle's flame. "I want to find my light," he said. "But how?" "By embracing your story," Grace replied. "We all face trials. It's through those struggles that we truly discover who we are meant to be." She looked around at the forest, vibrant with life. The beauty of this world is a reminder that every path, no matter how twisted, can lead to light. Jack nodded, energized by her words. "And together we can walk this path. We'll share what we find along the way, healing as we go." With renewed purpose, the four of them moved forward. As they strode deeper into the woods, they encountered shifting shadows, trees that seemed to dance in rhythm with their hearts, and a gentle breeze carrying whispers of encouragement. Suddenly, a rustling emerged from a nearby thicket. The anxiety of the unknown flickered at the edges of their hope. "What if it's just another seeker?" Sarah wondered aloud. "Or a challenge we need to face?" Grace replied, her voice steady. "Either way, we must be brave." Eli, feeling the strength of the group around him, stepped forward, emboldened. "I'm ready," he said, his voice firm. As they approached the sound, a figure emerged, a young woman with tear-streaked cheeks and eyes filled with desperation. "Please, help me," she cried, her voice breaking. Without hesitation, the group surrounded her. "You're not alone," Sarah reassured her, noticing the fear that clouded the woman's expression. "Tell us your name." "Lila," she breathed, her breath shaky. "I feel so lost and afraid." With each story, the bond between the group and Lila deepened. They shared laughter and tears, hope shining among shared heartbreaks. As they comforted her, they all felt their individual lights begin to glow brighter, the shadows falling away as the sun cast its midday rays. They looked around, a circle of souls united. They realized that the woods around them were not just a place of wilderness, but a sanctuary of healing, an answered prayer echoing through the trees. Yet, amidst their growing connection, something pulled at Laura's heart, a sense of urgency, a call for something deeper. "Do you feel it?" she whispered, glancing at the others. "There's more out there, more hearts in need of our light. What if the shadows ahead are waiting for us to confront them?" With courage filling the air, they stood together, ready to respond to this pull. The light around them seemed to pulse with potential, whispering truths yet to be uncovered. They could be the guiding stars for those still wandering in darkness. But where would this path lead next? What trials would challenge their faith? As Lila stood among them, renewed strength in her posture, they all sensed a divine mystery unfolding just beyond the horizon. Eli, Lila, Sarah, Grace, and Jack stood in a tight circle, a constellation of hope shimmering in the shadowy woods. The air felt thick with electricity, a tangible sign that something profound was about to happen. With every shared breath, they could sense the shifting dynamics amongst them, a readiness to act, a yearning to discover what lay ahead. "Let us keep moving," Jack urged. His voice was a gentle nudge, encouraging everyone to follow their hearts. They moved in sync, each footfall echoing a step toward destiny. The trees whispered secrets as their branches waved high above, admiring the unity stirring within this small band of seekers as they trudged deeper. A faint melody began to drift through the air, luring them. Grace tilted her head, a curious spark igniting in her spirit. "Do you hear that?" she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. "It sounds beautiful," Lila said, her fear slowly melting away, replaced by intrigue. The soothing tune felt like a soft embrace, wrapping around their hearts in a sweet serenade of promise. Elias' heart raced. "Is it coming from somewhere ahead?" He pointed toward a clearing bathed in radiant sunlight. There, amid the glades, they spotted a woman sitting by a fountain carved from stone, water cascading over it like a gentle waterfall. "Approach with care," Sarah whispered, feeling the weight of the moment. "This feels sacred." As they entered the clearing, the music grew louder, more vibrant. The woman looked up, her appearance striking. Her long hair seemed to shimmer with golden light, and her eyes sparkled like deep pools of wisdom. "Welcome, dear souls," she said, her voice deep and melodic, as if each word was a note in a celestial symphony. "Who are you?" Jack asked, captivated. "I am Selah, the songkeeper of this forest," she replied. "I am here to guide those who seek their inner light." Eli stepped forward, propelled by an unseen force. "I wish to find my light. I've been lost for so long." Selah's gaze pierced through the shadows of his heart. "To find your light, you must confront your fears. One cannot embrace the divine light without first facing the darkness." Lila gasped softly, realization washing over her. "But how do we do that?" Selah gestured toward the reflection in the fountain. "Look deeply into the water. It mirrors not just your faces but your souls. What do you see?" The group exchanged hesitant glances. One by one, they approached the fountain, peering into its depths. Truths unveiled danced on the surface of the water, fears they had buried, dreams deferred, and parts of themselves they'd neglected. Eli felt a wave of vulnerability crash over him. Tears pooled in his eyes. "I see my doubt," he whispered. "I always thought I wasn't enough, that I had failed. Failure is just a stepping stone toward your journey." Selah reminded him, her voice weaving through the air like silk. "You are not alone in this. Embrace the light that you carry inside." As each person shared their glimpse into the fountain, the collective weight of their burdens filled the air, but so too did their inflections of hope. Sarah spoke of her struggles with acceptance, Grace unveiled her long-held insecurities, and Jack confessed his fears of not living up to his calling. And this sacred moment, they found strength in vulnerability, each word weaving them closer together, binding their spirits in shared struggle and aspirations. Suddenly, a rush of wind swept through the clearing, as if the entire forest held its breath. Selah raised her hands, and the music swelled once more. "Empowered by your shared truths, your light grows stronger. You are not here by chance. Your paths have intertwined for a reason." Eli felt the heat of divine love blaze within him, sparking hope like never before. Together, they realized the importance of their journey. Shadows had been their teachers, and the light before them was the promise of renewal. "What happens next?" Lila asked, her voice trembling with anticipation. Selah smiled knowingly, for she understood the longing that burned in their hearts. "You will face the shadows that linger, just beyond this moment. But take heart, for courage blooms in the heart of community, and your light is destined to shine bright." With this revelation, the stillness in the air transformed into a thrill of expectation. They were ready to confront the unknown, emboldened by the profound connection they had forged. Yet, as they stepped away from the fountain, a distant rumble echoed from beyond the trees, alluding to trials yet to come. What would test their newfound strength? What darkness would they face, and how would their faith carry them through? In unity, they advanced, hearts alight with possibility. But a question lingered, whispering through the leaves. Would they be ready for the shadows that awaited them? As dawn broke anew over Hopewell, the sun painted the sky in vibrant colors, signifying not just a new day but a new chapter for Sarah, Jack, Grace, Eli, and Lila. Standing together in the fresh light, they felt the warmth of divine purpose enfolding them. They had come far, Yet deep within each heart swirled a persistent question. What now? In that sacred clearing, Selah's words lingered, imbued with promise. Courage blooms in the heart of community. And right then, they understood their journey was far from complete. It had only just begun. Together, we will navigate the shadows, Sarah declared, determination shining in her eyes. The others nodded fervently, their spirits intertwined by shared faith and vulnerability. It was a pact born of love and mutual support, forged in the fires of their struggles. Eli cleared his throat, a newfound confidence bubbling within him. Let us take this light to others. There are still those who need to see that they are not alone. With hearts aligned, they ventured onward, guided by the glow of faith and the echoes of their shared experiences. Each step into the woods felt lighter, less daunting. Jack led the way, carving a path coated in determination, the anticipation of divine purpose infusing their movements as they walked. The melodies of the birds harmonized with their souls, and the rustle of the leaves sounded like whispered encouragement from nature itself. This time, they were not just carrying their burdens but sharing the weight, becoming beacons of hope for all who crossed their paths. Suddenly, they spotted a group of villagers huddled near the edge of the forest. Concern etched on their faces, they shared murmurs of doubt, whispers echoing the very uncertainties that had once clung to Sarah's heart. Their grace pointed, urging the group forward. Let us offer our help, let us remind them of their light. The villagers looked up as they approached, and for a moment, uncertainty filled the air like fog. We've come to share our stories of struggle and hope, Jack began, his eyes meeting theirs. Each of us has faced darkness, but we've found a light that guides us through. One by one, they poured out their hearts. Eli spoke of rediscovering hope through the shadows. Lila shared how her loneliness transformed into empowerment. Sarah recounted her journey through fear to purpose, and Grace reminded them that vulnerability could be a strength. Slowly, as if under the balm of their collective light, the villagers began to nod, inspired to share their own stories, their eyes reflecting the flickers of newfound faith. In that moment, the air shifted, charged with an unmistakable energy of healing. One older villager stepped forth, his voice trembling yet fierce. You've reminded us that our suffering is not the end but a pathway to growth. Together, we can illuminate this darkened world if we let our voices rise. The crowd, emboldened by their words, transformed into a chorus of shared experiences, united in purpose, each life crossing another's in a beautiful symphony of faith and resilience. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the atmosphere shimmered, glowing with the essence of community healing and shared light. Sarah looked around at her companions, her heart swelling with gratitude. Their journey had come full circle, weaving a tapestry of interconnected lives and unspoken promises. And then, like a thunderous whisper that ignited their souls, a harmonious voice echoed through the crowd. It was Selah, appearing once more at the periphery of their gathering. Dear ones, the light within you can heal the world. Trust in the power of what you create together. Embrace the unknown, for therein lies the true essence of divine love. As her ethereal presence faded into the horizon, Sarah felt a surge of emotion crescendo within her. They had become the vessels, the chosen ones. They were conduits of divine love, entrusted with the mission to illuminate countless hearts. In that moment, each of them made a silent vow, burning bright in their spirits. They would face every challenge head-on, trusting in the light that guided them. They would share their stories, reach into the shadows, and remind the world that love is always worth pursuing. And as they stepped forward together, hand in hand, into a future filled with promise and possibilities, they knew this was only the beginning. Their journey sparkled with the brilliance of faith, unfurling like petals under the grace of a new dawn. Now, my friends, this is your moment to join this journey of faith. Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories of hope and miracles. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these messages of love alive. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this ending, sharing how you too have felt the light in your life. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine manifestation. Step into the light and let us spread this message together.